Welcome in and welcome back to Polite for What. I'm your host, Brie. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you can stay up to date with my content. And if you've been here for a while, y'all already know what to do. Like and share this content. That way I can stay in the algorithm. All right, y'all. I am here and I'm back to talk all things football today. This is a brand new segment that I'm introducing. And these videos will drop every single Wednesday. I will get into my power rankings. I'm gonna get into the Thursday night football preview. So whatever team um, is playing on that Thursday night, I will be previewing their team. So make sure you guys tune in each and every week to see if I'm previewing your team. And then, of course, we're going to get into the latest news that's around the NFL. All right. So we're going to go ahead and hop right into the show because I have a lot of things that I want to talk about today. So we're just going to go ahead and start off with some injuries, that went on Sunday and Monday. So, of course, up on the list, we have Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is out for the season with a torn Achilles. Um, you know the old saying, well, I don't know if y'all know it because I'm kind of old school. I'm from the South, but the old saying says, when it rains, it pours. And it seems like it's really been pouring on Deshaun Watson. He's already wasn't having a good season this year. And then of course, he had his off-field issues going on that one year. And then last year he was out with an injury as well. So I just seen the video of him boohooing, and I guess, reality probably really just set in for him, knowing that, he hasn't been playing well. Then again, here comes another injury. So, um, regardless of what's going on with him off field, you never just want to see any player go out with an injury. So going forward, Jameis Winston will be the starter for the Cleveland Browns. Jameis Winston is pretty decent. He can get them a few wins. I don't really know if they're gonna make the playoffs because, of course, it seems like this whole team is kind of falling apart. I just let Coop go, and then I seen some things today about Miles Garrett possibly being on the trading block. So yeah, so let's go ahead and move on. Let's get into Mike Evans. Now, Mike Evans will be out until week 12 due to a right hamstring injury. He went out in the Monday Night Football game against the Ravens. Um, like I said, we can expect Mike Evans to be back in week 12 after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers bye week. So I guess that's kind of like good news for the Bucks going forward. But it's not so good news for his teammate Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin is gonna be out probably for the remainder of the year. I did see that his team put him on IR today, which is injury reserve. Um, Chris Godwin, I know I'm having brain fart. Chris Godwin went out with the left ankle injury, so he will undergo surgery sometime this week. And they are expecting him to be back, but that's only if the Bucks was to make like a late run into the playoffs. So if the Bucks make a late run, you will see Chris Godwin back sometime later on the season. But other than that, if they don't, that means he will be gone for the remainder of their season. All right, so we're gonna get right into Brandon Ayuk, who will be out for the remainder of the season. Brandon Ayuk suffered our MCL and the ACL tear in his right knee. Brandon Ayuk is going to be out for the remainder of the year. And you know what's so crazy? And this is the reason why most players be wanting their money and they be holding out. And Brandon Ayuk was one of the players who was holding out because he wanted to be played. And see, I guess it all worked out. Or he low key could have just jinxed himself. But this is the main reason why these players hold out and they don't play because they want to be paid just in case they get an injury. And Brandon Ayuk is out for the remainder of the year to a 49ers team who already has been kind of like injury prone, got the injury bug going on. They put my Cowboys on Sunday, so um we'll get into that later. I ain't gonna talk about the Cowboys on here, but let's go ahead and get into the last person that I have here on my list. This is one of my favorites. I ain't gonna lie to you. Even though like Jaden Daniels is a Washington Commander, I still like Jaden Daniels. I think he's pretty good. But anyways, Jaden Daniels went out on Sunday with a rib injury. I haven't seen anything about him being out for the rest of the year, but Dan Quinn did say that they didn't that he's kind of like week to week, and he's kind of he's optimistic about him playing on Sunday against Caleb Williams. But right now, he said other than that, Jaden Daniels will be on a week to week basis, I guess, to see like how his ribs feel or if he will be able to go. But hopefully, he can play on that Sunday game against Caleb Williams, because I ain't gonna lie, that was one of the matchups I was looking forward to seeing, these two going at it, dueling, two rookies at the top of their games right now. So that was one of the games that I was looking forward to see. But if Jaden is not able to go on Sunday, then Marcus Mariota will step in and play. And Marcus did pretty well when he came in and played for Jaden Daniels, although it was already kind of a blowout. Marcus Mariota still had some pretty decent stats. But all right, y'all, that's all I have for the injury report. Let's go ahead and get into what's been going on around the league today. Trade rumors, and trades actually. But let's go ahead and hop right into my first one that I have here on my docket. This is linebacker Devin White, who was signed today by the Houston Texans. For those of you who don't know, uh, Devin White was playing with the Eagles earlier this year, but he was released for whatever reason. I'm not sure. I tried to do some research to see why. It just said that he wasn't playing and he was ultimately released, but he was picked up by the Houston Texans today. And I think this is some depth for the Houston Texans, being that one day linebackers, Aziz is out right now. I don't know if he's gone for the remainder of the season. I didn't see anything about him being out. But I guess they bring Devin in as some linebacker depth over there to that team. All right, so let's get into the biggest story that went on in the NFL today. We got DeAndre Hopkins going over to the Kansas City Chiefs for a little bit of nothing. They traded this man over there for a jump rope and a piece of bubble gum. And when I say a jump rope and a piece of bubble gum, I absolutely mean that. Kansas City traded for DeAndre Hopkins. He went over there for a 5th round pick that could possibly turn into a 4th round pick if D Hop played 60% of his snaps, or if Kansas City was to make the Super Bowl. This would turn into a 4th round pick. 9 times out of 10, it probably will turn into a 4th round pick. Because Kansas City is just, they undefeated right now. They're a good team, back-to-back champion. So I don't see why this is going to turn into a 4th round pick for the Tennessee Titans. Also, the Tennessee Titans, they're gonna pick up a portion of D Hop's salary. They will pay $2.5 million of his salary. And what's so crazy? Like, I just think like the Chiefs is low key greedy for this. I ain't even gonna lie to you. They low key greedy for this. Being that I already said on my other show that I be doing with my brothers, I already felt like Kansas City had one of the best wide receiver cores in the league. Especially they had the best rookie coming out, which is not gonna say the best rookie, but they had the fastest rookie receiver coming out in Xavier Worthy. They got Juju Smith Schuster over there. They got Marquise Brown over there that hasn't played yet, but when he come back from injury, he'll be playing. They got Miko Hartman over there. Although Rashee Rice is out, they still got Rashee Rice. You still got Travis Kelce. So they loaded over their receiver. But at the end of the day, they gonna do whatever they can to continue to make Patrick Mahomes successful. So they did bring in D Hop today. This is gonna be a good addition for them. D Hop. Now I ain't gonna say D Hop. I ain't gonna say he the same receiver like he was in Houston, but I still feel like D Hop got some left in the tank. Of course, he's been over there. With Will Levis, who's just not like the best quarterback. So I'm just kind of anxious to see what D Hop is gonna look like with Patrick Mahomes. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this next player I want to talk about. And the reason why I'm bringing up Cooper Kupp is because Cooper Kupp was almost a Kansas City Chiefs today, but they had to get like a third team involved, and then it was an issue with Cooper Kupp salary. So pretty much I did a little bit of research, and Cooper Kupp will be owed $20 million for the next 2 years. I think his contract is until 2026. So next football season he'll be owed 2020 he'll be owed 20 million. Then the following season after that, he'll be owed 20 million as well. And I just think now for like what Cooper Kupp is, he's kind of an aging receiver. He's 31 years old, and he's kind of been like injury prone. He's been out because the injuries has been keeping him sidelined. So I just feel like they probably looked at it like, yeah, we could, but it's just too much if we got to get a third team involved. And like I said, his salary came into play. And then, of course, I'm pretty sure the fact that Cooper Kupp has been kind of like injury prone. But, of course, the Rams are still trying to shop Cooper Kupp around. Like I said, I don't know how many teams will be desperate enough to pick him up because of the hefty salary cap. Maybe one of those teams that's probably not going to make the postseason will probably go and get him, but at the end of the day, that wouldn't even make sense because if y'all not going to make it in the postseason, why would you need him other than trying to make your team a little bit better? But like I said, I don't see anybody pretty much going out to get Cooper Kupp right now because of his salary cap, unless LA Rams like if they decide to like, hey, yeah, we'll eat a majority of his salary this year, or that they be like, we'll take all his salary this year, and then y'all would just be on the hook for the remainder of his contract. And that's the only reason. That's the only way that I can see him being traded somewhere and somebody being okay with it. Like I said, because Cooper is older and he's kind of just been injury prone these last few years. But all right, I want to go ahead and get into this last player before I get into my power rankings. I just want to talk about Tua Tagovailoa. For those of you who don't know, Tua has not been playing due to a concussion. He's been in concussion protocol. This is the second one that he suffered. He suffered one last year that kept him out for the remainder of the year, and then of course he's been out for almost a month now due to a concussion. And the only reason why I brought this up is because I read and I seen that Tua was practicing this week. He's practicing and he's possibly going to play on Sunday. And it's so crazy because I feel like at the end of the day, there's no amount of money, there's no organization that's worth your life. And I know it's easy for me to say it because I never played football in my life, but for these guys, football is all they know. Football is uh, all they eat and sleep, whatever you want to say, however you want to put it. Like this is what they do and this is what they love to do. And I seen a quote for Tua where he literally said, like, I love football to the death of me. So that means he's willing to put his life on the line for football, which I think is absolutely insane. But hey, at the end of the day, this is this man's personal choice. If he want to play football, um, being that he had these two concussions, and hey, so be it. And then he also said he's not gonna wear their marshmallow helmet too. So hey, I guess they build different over there in Hawaii, man. I don't know. If Tua say he gonna play, he gonna play. But y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all think. Y'all think Tua should retire? Should y'all just think that he should just go out there and play? Like, let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Like I said, I think he absolutely should retire. He just got that big contract. He got his money. So at the end of the day, like you got your money, just go ahead and peace out. But like I said, at the end of the day, I've never played football before, so it's easy for me to say versus somebody who's been playing football their whole life. But y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. If y'all think he should retire or what. But all right, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and hop right into my power rankings. I know this is something that y'all probably a little anxious to see. And before I get into my power rankings and before I bring my power rankings up, I do want to say this before y'all try to get in the comments and say, "Oh, this team better than this team," woo, 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 whatever. Now, the way that I structured my power rankings and the way that I rank my teams is I went through and I did strength of schedule. So I went through everybody's schedule and seeing like the teams they played. Um, I based it off of points allowed. I based it off of points scored, and then of course the record was the last thing that came into play for me. So I'm not going off a record. Like I said, I'm going strictly off of record was the last thing that I took into consideration. But like I said, for me, it was strength of schedule, points allowed, and points scored. So with that being said, this is my power rankings. So of course, coming in at number one, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, who are undefeated. They have to be number one at the top of my list because they're the only team that's left undefeated in the NFL right now. Um, as far as points scored, Kansas City's only they're scoring 140. They have scored 146 points so far, and they've only allowed 103 points. So they got a pretty decent defense over there in Kansas City. So my number two, of course, you can see here, I have the Detroit Lions. So far, the Detroit Lions have scored 182 points, and they have only allowed 120 points. And I feel like at right now, anyways, these two teams that I have at the top, of course, you got Kansas City, who is the probably one of the top teams in the AFC. Then, of course, for my number two, that's why the Lions come in number two. They are literally probably the best team in the NFC right now. It would have been the Vikings for me, but being that they were just defeated by the Vikings on Sunday, this is why these are my top two teams at the top. Then, of course, number three, like I said, my third team that I thought was probably one of the best teams in the NFC over the Lions is the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings have scored 168 points so far this year, and they've only allowed 107 points. So yeah, they're not giving up much points. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, outside of Kansas City, this is probably one of the lowest. No, it's not. It's not the lowest. We'll get into that. This is that's the top three lowest that they've allowed teams to score on them. So that's my number three team. My number four team, of course, you can see here, I have the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, they have scored 218 points so far, which is the most in the NFL right now. I think they're tied with who they're tied with. They're tied with Washington right now. The Commanders with the most points scored in the NFL. But the Ravens has only allowed 180 points scored against that defense. So my number five team coming in is gonna be the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills, they have scored 199 points so far. And they've only allowed 136 points to be scored against them. So this is a pretty decent team. So this is my top five. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about my top five. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Which teams would y'all switch around? And tell me what y'all think about my top five. All right, so let's go ahead and get into my top six. I mean my last few teams that I have on this list. My number 6 team, I have the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers, I ain't gonna lie, after watching that game on Sunday against the Texans, like, the Packers have a stiff defense. Like, that defense is really, really good. And it's so crazy because that was my first time watching the Green Bay Packers like all year long. So Green Bay Packers got a stiff defense. They're gonna be a force to be reckoned with in the playoffs. So um Green Bay Packers, they are scoring, they have scored so far 186 points, and they've only allowed 143 points. All right, so let's go ahead into my number 17, which is the Houston Texans, which they are the ones who lost to the Green Bay Packers on Sunday. The Houston Texans are putting up 160, they have put up 165 points so far, and they've only allowed 159 points. Now, if we go and talk about defense, the Texans will be in my top five as far as defense go. Like I said, they're not allowing a lot of points, and I want to say the Texans is probably maybe like the third team. Like I said, that's why they will be top five as far as like if defense go. If we was ranking it by defense, Texans will definitely be in my top five. But as far as like everything that I told y'all so far, Texans is my number 17. My number 18 is the Washington Commanders. The Commanders, like I said, they are tied with the Ravens for most points scored so far in the season with 218, and they've only allowed 152 points. And the Commanders have been playing really, really well. I ain't gonna lie, this is probably, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I ain't gonna lie. The Commanders is probably looking like they're the best team in NFC East. I gotta be fair. I gotta be honest about my analysis. They looking like they might be the best team in the NFC East right now. But let's go ahead and get into my number 9 team. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming in at number 9. Tampa Bay has scored 208 points so far, and they've only allowed 182 points. And I ain't gonna lie, when I was doing my list at first, I had these two teams flip-flopped. I had Tampa at 8 and I had Washington at 9. But when I went through and I looked at their strength of schedule, and then I looked at how many points they allow, it was easy for me to make Tampa my number 9 team. Although, like, Baker has been playing really, really well this year. I think he might be in the talks for the MVP. But after that loss on Sunday, I was like, yeah, they got to be my number 9, 10. And then coming in at number 10 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh Steelers so far have scored 161 points. And the Steelers are actually number 1 with points allowed. They've only allowed 101 points against opposing teams. So if we were talking just strictly defense, the Steelers would probably be my number 1 team as far as defense. Like I said, they've only allowed 101 points scored against them. And then of course Kansas City would be my number 2 team, but they've only scored 103 points. So we going strictly off of defense. Kansas City would definitely be my number 1 team as far as I'm not Kansas City. The Steelers would be my number 1 team as far as defense goes. But yeah, this is my this is Rhea's power ranking. So let me know how I did so far. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Which teams do y'all think should be flip-flopped around? But like I said, I went strictly off of points scored, points allowed, and then I looked at everybody's strength of schedule. So this is what I came up with. Y'all let me know how I did. And of course, next week, depending on blowout scores and things of that matter, if some of these teams will be moved around. Of course, if you look up here, I'm a Cowboys fan. I don't have my Cowboys fan at all in the top 10 because we are not supposed to be in the top 10 at all. My team looks absolutely terrible. But like I said, we're not gonna talk about the Cowboys. This is about everybody else's team. But let's go ahead and get into the last thing that I want to talk about today. We're gonna go ahead and preview this Thursday night football game tonight. We have the Los Angeles Rams versus the Minnesota Vikings. And for those of you who like to bet, they have the Minnesota Vikings winning this game by 3. But I ain't gonna lie, I think this is gonna be a total blowout. The Rams they just don't look that good. I think if I'm not mistaken, the Rams are 2-4 right now. They've only won 2 games this year. But I absolutely think this is gonna be an absolute blowout tonight. But who knows? It's any given Sunday, any given Thursday. We'll see what happens. But I definitely think the Vikings are gonna cover the 3-point scale. Like I said, I think this is gonna be a blowout. I think honestly, I probably got like the Vikings winning this one probably by 10. They'll probably win this one by 10. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's gonna be a blowout. But let's go ahead and get into what let's go ahead and get into some impact players and key players what I think each team could do to try to get this dub against each other. So first we're gonna go ahead and get into the Minnesota Vikings players. So I expect Aaron Jones to have a good game tonight. Aaron Jones, I didn't put his stats up here. How many yards he had last week? But the Rams are allowing what they have allowed in the past 2 games, 248 total rushing yards in the past 2 games. So I expect Aaron Jones to at least rush for at least 80 to 90 yards tonight. Aaron Jones is a really, really good running back. He played for the Green Bay Packers last year, and he did a number on plenty of teams. So like I said, I feel like with the Rams giving up 248 total rushing yards, I feel like Aaron Jones should have a really, really good game tonight. And then we're going to go right into Justin Jefferson. Now, we all know who Jettis is. Jettis is probably one of the top 10, maybe for some of y'all, maybe top 5 wide receivers in the league right now. But I expect Justin Jefferson to have a really, really good game tonight. Last week, Justin Jefferson had 7 receptions for 81 yards and 1 touchdown. Today he will be lined up against the Rams' best cornerback, Kobe Durant. But I still think that Justin Jefferson gets the best of this matchup, and I'm expecting the Jets to have a really good game. He's been going off, like I said, every single week, and I expect nothing less tonight against I kind of beat down LA Rams. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the Rams players before we get out of here. Let's go ahead and get into Kyrie Williams. Kyrie Williams, he had 21 carries for 76 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Raiders. And the Vikings allowed Jahmyr Gibbs to run for 116 yards last week, and that's not even including what David Montgomery did. So I expect Kyrie Williams to have a really good game tonight too. Kyrie Williams was kind of a breakout last year without his rush yards. So I feel like Kyrie Williams can have a really, really good rush night against I guess the Vikings, like I said, for them allowing Jahmyr Gibbs to go off. Now I ain't gonna say Jahmyr Gibbs a dog. Now I ain't gonna Jahmyr Gibbs is a dog. I ain't saying Kyron is Jahmyr, but he should be able to get a good substantial enough of yards against the Vikings tonight. It just depends on how they want to play it. But pretty much they're not gonna load the box because nah. I think he should have a good game. I think Kyrie Williams have a good game tonight. I think they'll have a good game. But let me go ahead and get into the next player for the Rams. Tutu Atwell. Tutu Atwell is a leading receiver right now with the Rams due to all the injuries they have over there. Like I said, Cooper Kupp was out. Then you had Puka Nacua, who was out. So of course, right now Tutu Atwell is the leading receiver over there. Right now, he had 6 receptions for 51 yards against the Raiders last week. So I'm expecting Tutu to have a pretty decent game. And then of course, Cooper Kupp is expected to be back today. He participated in practice this week. So I'm expecting I'm expecting a Cooper Kupp to come back today and have a really big game, being that, you know, his name is on the chopping block for the Rams, but he say, hey, he gonna still come out and be the best Ram he can possibly be tonight. So I'm expecting Cooper Kupp to have a really, really good game. But when it's all said and done, I still feel like the Vikings is the better team, and I feel like the Vikings is going to win this game. But all right, y'all. That's all I have. That's all I have on the docket today. I really hope you guys enjoyed this new segment that I'm going to introduce. Like I said, this video will be dropping each and every Wednesday. So if you like my football content, you like my football commentary, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Also, make sure you hit that like button to keep me in the algorithm, and get down in the comments. Get down in the comments. Tell me what y'all think about everything that I talked about in the show today. And like I said, tune in each and every week, because your team may be one of the teams that I preview for the Thursday night football team. So make sure you guys are tuning in each and every week. And as always, as you can see, I got all my platforms up there. If you want to follow me on Twitter, if you want to follow me on Instagram, the information is right here at the top of the screen. So I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.